weekend racing. It's time to recap it. And who better to do it than Michael New Magic? Two bros/pros who cover the highs and lows of racing around the globe on every one of their shows. Real fans look forward to these guys and their last stunts, cause they know they're not talking out of their royal ascot. What they say makes sense. So ladies and gents, sit back and relax as Blinkers Off presents The Magic Mike Show, where you hear the experts speak. The Magic Mike Show. Tune into the show every week. The Magic Mike Show. You can trust the show is the bomb because it's being brought to you by RacingDudes.com.
What's up, everybody? I'm Magic.
And I'm Mike.
And this is The Magic Mike Show, episode 291. Mr. Samich.
Huzzah!
That's a live huzzah from Saratoga Springs. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. 6 hours in the car with a 3-year-old, and we are here 15 minutes before showtime to get ready to rock and roll, man. I'm excited. It's nice to be up here. Did not drive by the track, which was probably a good thing because I would probably be there, not here right now if that had happened. So I was able to get set up here in my little side bedroom and ready to make some picks for Saturday here.
I'm jealous that recliner you're in looks, or that couch. I don't know, chair. I don't know if it's a recliner or not, but it looks incredibly comfy. I mean, I've got a great office chair. That thing, though, you just want to sink into it, and then you got like 4 drinks lined up, and your bag of chips, and your remote, and that's all you need.
It's definitely next level. I'll say that. I usually am in the office chair too, trying to have the straight sit-up posture and everything. I am just here relaxing after driving for 6 hours and just trying to chill. Just enjoy Saratoga. Excited to go to the track tomorrow. Excited to celebrate Lily's 3rd birthday tomorrow. It's going to be a blast, man.
Yeah, I was looking at my calendar earlier, and I saw Lily's birthday, and I had to do the math in my head. I was like, all right, so her birthday's tomorrow. Mike and I started doing this with the 2018 Ohio Derby right before she was born. So that's how I knew. I tracked to the 2018 Ohio Derby and Lone Sailor losing to be able to track how old your child is.
Man, you have Lily's birthday in a calendar. I'm impressed. I'm a bad friend. I need to get on that.
Listen, if you want to wish Colson a happy birthday, just wait till the Kentucky Derby. It's going to move. Just how the Derby moves to every first Saturday in May. His birthday is going to be every first Saturday in May rather than May 1st. That's how that's going to work.
I like it. I'll have to. Yeah, I'll just every Derby day I'll wish him a happy birthday.
So we're about 2 minutes away here from the last stakes of the day at Saratoga. So if you're watching us live, thank you so much for joining us. If you're listening to the replay, bear with us for a little bit because we're going to be reacting live to the what is it? It's not the quick call stakes, the Schuylerville, the 2-year-old fillies. That'll be an interesting one. That was when we handicapped this pick for a sequence, Mike. We thought it was pretty wide open, and we said if you want to try and make money, you need to try and beat the Wesley Ward horse here. I got a feeling we're going to beat the Wesley Ward horse that was entered because she got scratched.
Yeah, I'm kind of bummed. I wanted Happy Soul in this spot. You know what I mean? Because if I can get Happy Soul here, I'm going to get a much better price on the one horse who I think is probably the best horse in this field, sitting at 5-2 right now, Pretty Birdie. And the 9 horse Cartel Queen wouldn't be sitting at 4-1. We get closer to that 12-1 morning line price. So a little bummed that Happy Soul is out, but I did play some doubles, 1-7, 1-12, 1-5 here into the last 2 races at Saratoga. Since my multi-race wagers got blown up by the bomb that hit in, I think it was the 6th race. So yeah, it's been a Saratoga type day. Went 4 for 5 in the early pick 5, just nailing the 4 races, and then absolutely not close to it in the 5th. Actually, that's not true. We almost had the 23-1 shot, but that horse ended up running 3rd. So it was a good walking back into it. It's nice. It's exciting. I'm glad we have the $1 pick 6 that we can play. I bet that carries over for tomorrow if you get any type of upset here. Yeah, and it's excited to be back in Saratoga. Man, I cannot wait to go to the track tomorrow.
I feel like the 9 Cartel Queen, I don't know that you'd get 12-1 even if you had Happy Soul in here, just because the winner of the 2nd race was Microbiome, or Biome, is a horse that we both talked about in our preview. She was a short price, so we can't take a whole lot of credit for that, but the two of them were working together. Cartel Queen, I think we liked her a lot anyways in this spot, and I think if people had been paying attention to that she had worked with Microbiome and then that horse wins the 2nd race, I think that is going to hurt her price a little bit anyways. The 2 mainstay, I don't think we mentioned this on the preview, Mike, but this is a half-sister to Vequist. Vequist came and did a whole lot of damage as a 2-year-old, so it'd be real curious to see. She is the 9-5 favorite right now as they're heading into the gate. Before we get into anything, Mike, from a price perspective, we talked about how losing Happy Soul hurts everybody else's prices. Looking at the board, 9-5 on mainstay, the 2, Pretty Birdie, the rail, 5-2. Is there any value here, anything at all that you think is worth playing a small win bet on?
I mean, I don't think mainstay should be the favorite. So I have, like I said, I played doubles using the 1. I thought that was the best way to do it. I also played a trifecta 1 over 2-9 and then played a straight 1-9-2 try. But yeah, to me, I felt like the one horse Pretty Birdie was the best horse going into this race, with or without Happy Soul. I think actually the Happy Soul leaving kind of helps the one Pretty Birdie. So I still would lean toward the one over anyone else. And 5-2 it's good enough against this field. I do think the one should be the favorite. So there's a little bit of value there.
I really wish that we had Saratoga Slim on right now, just so we could hear one of his famous race calls as they're loading in the gate for the Schuylerville Stakes here. While we wait for that, Mike, we can kind of wax poetic a little bit about what we just saw half an hour ago. Golden Pal, that horse might be kind of good, Mike.
Best thing I saw, man. I mean, I have not seen a horse do that in a minute. I mean, you can talk about how. So that was just a freak effort. I mean, just an absolute freak effort from a horse that we knew was that good last year, just rolling through the competition. And to see that horse come back and run 21-4, 44 flat, I think it was, and still come home under wraps in under 12 seconds. I mean, yeah, there wasn't a ton in there, but you know what? I don't think anyone was beating him on that day. Like, I don't think anyone in training could have beaten that horse going 5 in the turf today. So Golden Pal looked absolutely sensational. And the scary part is this is the stepping stone. This isn't like a fully cranked Golden Pal. This is a Golden Pal first off a long layoff. Yes, Ward is very good at getting him ready in these spots. Yes, we both thought this horse was going to win easy, but I did not think this horse was going to win like that, and that was ultra impressive.
Yeah, it was. It makes you understand why after his 2-year-old season when he was the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint Champion on Breeders' Cup Friday, you get an understanding of why Coolmore privately purchased him away from the owner/breeder. They're off. Your one horse, Mike, went straight to the lead, which you have Luis Saez on. You know that the horse, if the horse shows speed in the morning, the horse is probably going to gun. Got a nice early lengthy lead here. If this is anything like the second race, when it was about 10 seconds into the race, I knew exactly who was going to win. Looking pretty good here on your one. You just need the 2 and the 9 to you need the 9 to get second and the 2 to kind of stick around for third there. 9 is going about 18 deep in the corner there, so we'll see how this works out.
This is interesting, too, because this is the 2 horse came from Monmouth and won a sprint there. This is one of the first horses we've seen take a step up into a whip race from one of those no whip races in a stakes spot specifically. So it's going to be interesting to see how the 2 performs down the lane, and if the 2 is going to be able to get by the 1. I mean, I think this 1 is absolutely gone top of the stretch, though. I'm
curious to see what happens with the 9 because Irad wasn't moving off the turn. Oh, it's because the horse isn't moving. Okay. Irad doesn't ever move in the turn. It's a matter of is he not moving because the horse is loaded or because the horse isn't going to go anywhere? And it looks like it's the latter there. But you're going to get your oh boy. One's getting a little leg weary here. Switching leads. Come on, change leads.
He's still got it. Oh,
still got it. Boy, they were both on the wrong lead at the end there.
A little closer than it needed to be, but happy we got that 5-2 shot home. Again, I wish we were just playing 2-year-olds. We nailed that first race, the second race on the card, the first 2-0 race that we talked about before. We said the 6 and 7 is all you needed in the 5th race. The 7 gets home as a $10 winner for Asmussen. That horse looked really good too, Echo Zulu. Excited to see what she goes. Yeah. She might actually run in the next version of this stakes race for 2-year-old fillies here at Saratoga. And then, Pretty Birdie. Hopefully some people cashed in who were watching the show live. They got a nice price on 5-2.
Well, and then we did. Speaking of Echo Zulu, you have another gun runner, right? Wasn't that another? That was a gun runner daughter who was a half to Echo Town, who was a Grade 1 winner at 3 in a dirt sprint. So plenty of pretty gun runners, man. That I'm so happy because I loved this horse when he was running at his 4-year-old into 5-year-old campaign. Absolutely loved Gunrunner that year. So to see him do so well initially as a sire like this is fantastic.
Yeah, and Let Go My Echo, which, by the way, a wonderful name for a filly instead of Let Go My Echo, is the dam of that horse. And that dam, I believe, was a multiple graded stakes winner, too.
Awesome. Best thing that I saw. Sorry, go ahead.
Nope, go. Yeah, Jan was grade 2-1, won the first 3 starts of her career. That was the thing. She was super precocious early. We talked about it on the Monday show, that she won early, and that was one of the reasons we liked her here.
The best thing that I saw, I've got a goofy one for you. So when we had Caleb Keller on from TVG to preview a sequence in the past, it was because I just had a root canal. I've gone several times back to the dentist, who's literally just on like the other side of the apartment building. You just have to go around the block. But he's a really nice guy. He's our age. His wife is the office manager, and she's 7 months pregnant. So with Celeste and I going, we have a lot to talk about whenever we're there. I'm kind of a smart ass, you know that. So the second time that I went, when I was getting the root canal work done, they a lot of times, if you've ever been under the lights in a dentist office for a while, they have like an orange film that they put over it, and it's to help your eyes from the UV. This dentist had glasses that they put on, and I was like, though this is fantastic. Like I was actually kind of fell asleep during my root canal. That's how like at peace and comfortable, and how much lidocaine I had. I get why Bob Baffert loves to use it on all his horses. So I was sitting there, enjoying the glasses. I get done. They're like, "How was it?" I'm like, I was like, "These glasses are amazing." The dentist just jokingly, I didn't understand this at the time, just jokingly was like, "Oh, take them home with you. You can have them with you." So I pocketed them and walked out with them. I came back a week later to get the next round of work done, and I pull out they like start to hand me glasses. I'm like, no, I brought mine from home, and they're like, "Where did you get those?" I was like, "You told me last week to bring them home with me," so I took them home. I thought these were my personal pair. They were like, "We tore this office apart looking for those." Didn't realize that they were actually expensive, nice glasses. And so I was like, oh, like, honestly, you told me to take them home. I took them home. I thought I was just going to keep, because I knew I had to keep coming back multiple times. I just thought they were like, "You're going to keep coming back. You might as well keep it." So this time I was there earlier today to get the crown put on. And the dentist is like, "Before you leave, I got something for you." I had no idea. I thought maybe, he knows that we have a child. Maybe he got me some little onesie or something like that. No, I've got my own pair of the goddamn orange glasses officially. These are mine now. So I couldn't, like, they did a whole ceremony in the office when they, like, in the waiting room, when they're like, "Hang on." And everybody comes out and they're like, "Here, these are your own glasses." So I've already got some little stickers put on them so that I know that they're mine. But these are my official dentist glasses, and I love them.
You look like you're ready to go a European rave there. So you got to wonder, where did what's defunct about them, right? Like they went back and gave you a different pair. There's got to be something wrong with those glasses.
What's wrong with them is that they just make me somehow look that much sexier with my shirt off, which is, you've seen the Magic Mike Show logo, is already pretty high.
Pretty tough to do.
On today's show, we're going to be looking at the late pick 4 sequence at Saratoga on Saturday, headlined by the Grade 1 Diana, or the Diane, depending on who you're talking to and how crazy Magic's feeling at the moment. Let's get into it, Mike. Riders up. All right, Mike, kicking off the late pick 4 sequence at Saratoga on Saturday, July 17th. Race 8 on the card. You've got a field of 12 males, 3 and up, going 7 furlongs on the main track. Mike, we love these 7 furlong dirt sprints because you really have to show your mettle as a handicapper to find the winner a lot of times, especially when you have a nice big field, especially when it's a first level allowance race at Saratoga on opening weekend. Favoritism's all the way on the rail. Bo Liam for Steve Asmussen, Ricardo Santana Jr., 3-1. You also have all the way out in post 10 Crowded Trade for Chad Brown and Irad at 4-1. Where are you going on top here?
Well, the favorite's actually all the way on the outside, the 12, Mahamel, who's not 5-2.
Oh, shoot, I missed that one. Thank you.
And
yep.
Before I get to who I like, I want to talk a little bit about Mahamel, because I think this is a really interesting horse from a buyer perspective. Run 7 furlongs twice, both at Belmont. The last one was in the slop. And the first captain won the first race of Mahamel's career. Mahamel ends up running second to first captain, comes back and wins, getting a 99 buyer. Okay, 99 buyer. It's a huge buyer for second time out, and an absolutely huge buyer for a 3-year-old who's kind of at that early in its career. The horse that ran second, Asking for Baskin, was 28-1 in that spot, and is your morning line favorite in the last race in this sequence. Asking for Baskin got a 93 in that race. That 93 made no sense to me. So, and both of those horses are by massive slop sires. So horses who like the off-going. Distorted Humor, I think, was Asking for Baskin, and then the Into Mischief here on Mahamel. I'm going to not use Mahamel because I think that last race is a paper tiger race. I think that came back way faster than it probably should have from a figures perspective. And so I'm going to throw out the favorite here on the outside and try and beat it. I think this is kind of one of those legs where you can try and add value based on a horse that's clearly, $750,000, Shadwell, Pletcher, Velasquez. This horse is going to take a lot of money. I think this is one you can try and get around. I'm going to go to my favorite trainer, the one horse, Steve Asmussen, right there on the rail, got my boy Santana up. Bo Liam was huge in debut. Absolutely huge. If you go back and watch this race, it was just ultra impressive what he was able to do. He had challengers left, right, and center going 21-3, 45 flat, and this horse just opened up and wins in racehorse time going 108-3. This was a Stone Street horse bred by Stone Street, so you don't really have that sale price, but based on what you saw from this horse, I think this horse would have gone for a lot of money as well. This was a just ultra impressive debut for me. I think this horse makes the lead or gets very close to it on the rail, causes a lot of trouble for Mahamlin. I think Bo Liam ends up opening up here as we turn for home. So the one horse is going to be my top pick. I'm only going to go too deep here because I felt this was the race to separate yourself by shortening it up versus spreading out using a bunch of horses here and then having to shorten in places where I just am not that confident.
So a couple questions for you. By the way, just so everybody knows, I ran out of time, wasn't able to properly handicap and put together a pick four ticket that I felt strong enough about giving out here. So I just have some questions for Mike about his ticket here. Bo Liam is a 3-year-old. He's only got one start. He was very brilliant in that start at Churchill Downs going 6. He should be able to handle 7. But now he's facing winners for the first time. He drew the rail, and there's 12 horses that are very talented because this is Saratoga's opening weekend. Are you concerned that your top pick is a 3-year-old facing winners in his second career start buried on the rail?
No, because the only horse, first off, buried on the rail, I don't think is a big issue if you're speed, which we are in this case. And the only horse that's older that I even considered was the 11 horse. What do you think now? Who's 10-1 for Rudy Rod? Every other older horse is not good in this spot. And sometimes when you have, 6 and 5 and 6-year-old horses running in non-winners of 1, they're just not going to be that attractive on paper. You got to kind of sift through, okay, who has the back races that can compete with this? In this case, you have multiple horses that are 3 that are coming off 90-plus buyers. I mean, you got to kind of respect a couple of these. And you also have, both of the Chad Brown horses, who we probably should talk about here. I'm sorry, the Shug horse and the Brown horse are both coming out of graded stakes that were Derby preps. So you've got a ton of talent there as well. I think this is a tough spot for the older horses who have struggled to win. Sometimes they find the right field, and you face one of these 3-year-olds that really showed a ton of promise. You're facing 4 or 5 3-year-olds that showed a ton of promise here. And I think that's where the differentiator is.
So Crowded Trade, the 10 horse, I misspoke. Javier Castellanos back aboard that one. Irad's on the 7, Witzel, which is another one-start horse for making the first start against winners here. As the son of Nyquist, has been off since December when he was previously trained by Carlos Munoz. Gets privately purchased since that time. Shows up here now with Chad Brown, Peter Brandt, one of Chad's major owners here, and Irad picking up this one first-time Lasix. Is this the other horse that made your ticket?
It's not, but man, it almost did. I mean, this is the next up. If you want it, I'm playing a $48 ticket. If you want to stretch it out to what would be like $64, I think it is, then go ahead and add this horse specifically. The fact that it was private purchase from a 5% trainer, not great trainer first time out, going into the Brown Bar, you got to think this horse is going to take a pretty big step forward. I'm just a little concerned that every now and then you see this at Keeneland as well, where you have horses just absolutely jacked up for their first start, specifically to try and sell them. I'm a little concerned that might be what we have here. But Brandt and La Palma, great connections. Obviously, Ortiz and Brown, great connections. Interesting that you have this horse in there with Crowded Trade, which is one of Brown's, more talented 3-year-olds as well. So if either the 7 or the 10 scratches, I will be using the other one. I ended up going with Crowded Trade for this. I feel like that horse just showed a ton of talent early in its career sprinting. If you look at its first 2 races, going 6 furlongs and a mile, and the mile was at Aqueduct, both of those races were very, very good. Yes, I know that I'm not a big fan of Weyburn, but highly motivated, ran well behind Crowded Trade, then ran well at Keeneland in that Gotham. And this isn't a graded stakes. This is a non-winners of 1 allowance, right? So this is a massive step down from what you saw there. I think that the 10 horse has the most class in the field, is getting back to necessarily what he's good at. I think the mile and an eighth, the mile and 3/16 is a little bit too long for this horse. Yes, it's bred to get those distances, but sometimes it doesn't mean it's their best distance, right? And you go back and you see that 95 buyer in the Gotham. I mean, if we can take any type of step forward off that, or even that start, that's probably good enough to beat this field, even with these ultra-talented 3-year-olds.
One horse I'm going to keep an eye on that I would have been real close to making my ticket. The 5-10 for 10. This is the Shug horse that you referenced earlier. Haven't seen him since he was a 2-year-old, but he had a win in 3 seconds as a 2-year-old, including in the Remsen and the Nashua. The horse has shown speed, at least when he was younger. Jose Ortiz is going to be aboard for the 4th time. I don't know if it's because maybe it's Shug. I mean, he is 21% with a similar layoff with horses returning. I feel like with Shug, I kind of want to see how they return a little bit. But one thing I remember is that when Shug debuts horses at 7 furlongs, that means he thinks that this is a horse that's going to be a router. This horse did rout twice in his career as a 2-year-old, so even if he doesn't win this race, I think this is someone, if he makes a good account of himself, you want to follow him when he goes to 2 turns back up to the stakes level. What did you think about 10 for 10?
You actually nailed kind of my thought process on leaving this horse off. If you look at his first race at Saratoga, went 6 furlongs. It ran a decent race, not a great race, but a pretty good race. It was off a step slow, a little further off the pace. You then stretch out to a mile and 16th, and this horse takes the field gate to wire. I think this is a 2-turn horse with 2-turn horse speed, not necessarily 6 furlong horse speed. And I agree with you. I'm not sure that this horse is going to be fully cranked in this spot. I think they're coming back at 7 because they want to put a nice foundation underneath this horse to be able to go 2 turns next time out. I wouldn't be shocked if this horse wins, but I don't think you're necessarily guaranteed an A effort. And because of that, I can't include it on the ticket.
Let's move on to the second leg of the late pick 4 sequence at Saratoga on Saturday, July 17th, race 9. This is the Grade 3 $150,000 Sanford Stakes. This is what the Schuylerville is for the boys. You've got a field of 12 juvenile males going, 6 furlongs on the dirt track here. Favoritism, hey, we're going back to the rail. Wit at 8-5. Mike, we've talked before about watching trainers when they debut horses. This horse debuts on Belmont Stakes Day as a son of Practical Joke who's been lights out as a first crop sire like Gun Runner. This is a $575,000 purchase. He wins by 6 lengths. Now he's the 8-5 favorite in his first stakes test. You've also got the 2 Candy Landing just to his outside at 7-2, an equally impressive debut win at Churchill a week after Wit won. Where are you going on top?
I'm going to go with Wit on top. And we talk about how I love professional horses in these type of spots. This horse was ultra professional in that race. It missed the break, was able to rush up and still get the job done. We talked about Practical Joke, how good Practical Joke has been as a sire. I don't see anything wrong with Wit here. I think Wit is a logical top pick. I think you might get close to that 8-5 price. I mean, I can't remember a version of this race. I mean, this is one of those fun stakes. I love the Sanford Stake because it's setting up for the hopeful at the end of the meet. It's this first of the triumvirate of 2-year-old male or colt races that we're going to see. I don't remember seeing 12 horses in this field in previous years. I mean, this is a big time field. Usually you get 6, 7, maybe 8, but 12 is kind of nuts, and it's tough to swallow a price sub 2-1 on almost any horse at this age because you have so many horses that could take a step forward. This is one of those where I was like, yeah, I like the 1 on top. I think the 1 makes a ton of sense, but I don't want to go short in this race. I think you're more likely to get a price here than you were to get a price in the previous race. And that's one of the reasons that I ended up here going 4 deep. The 1 is the top pick. I did use the 2 as well. A little scared that this is the funeral, and we missed the wedding there. 17-1 when it won its debut. It looked ultra impressive. I remember watching that race at Churchill. But I think the fact that you see Brandon Walsh bring this horse back, ship it to Saratoga, he's 16% in graded stakes, shows that this horse has talent. And again, this is another one where it was able to duel, put away a horse, and win. And they went ultra fast in there too, 22-2, 44-2. So this horse should be very forwardly placed, maybe faster than the 1, and could create some issues for the inside horse Whip.
Can I go out 1 horse further from you? Catch the Smoke, the 3 horse. This to me feels like if you really wanted just a ridiculous bomb in these 2-year-old races, 50-1 seems a little too much of a price for me to want to pass him up. He is exiting a maiden 25K claimer at Monmouth Park. But he won at Monmouth Park from off the pace, which I like. Also, his sire, Mo Heyman, is 4 for 11 with his first crop sire with the 2-year-olds. They're hitting the board 7 of 11 starts so far. So I know it's a huge step up class-wise, but the fact that he did well at Monmouth, where we've talked about they don't have the whips, and you want to see, okay, how is this horse going to respond now? 50-1 when he was 5-2 that day when he got his victory. I know there's a lot of class and a lot of potential here with this field. 50-1, I kind of want to take a little bit of a bite.
Yeah, I mean, you've done dumber things. That was a $25,000 maiden claimer, so this is a massive step up in class from that sense. But Potts is also 1 for 2 in graded stakes with a $16 winner. So I wouldn't call you crazy for saying, hey, I'm going to take a shot in the 3. And sometimes, like I said earlier, these 2-year-old races you see massive jumps in performance, right? You can see a horse take a huge step forward off that first race. We just saw a Monmouth horse run pretty well here in the Schuylerville, which is the Philly version of this, which we just saw live here on the show. So to me, like I said, you've done crazier things and thrown a couple shekels on the 3 at 50-1. Now, this horse gets bet down to 10 or 15-1. I'm not sure if I would say watch out for it or don't bet it, because that's awfully scary. But also, I'm not sure I would want more than 15-1 to bet this horse.
Another horse that I liked in here, the 7, Ottoman Empire, Tom Amos, Jose Ortiz in the saddle. This is a horse that came from well off the pace, didn't have a great start, but boy, did he come running at Churchill, going 5 furlongs. This is a son of Classic Empire, who was the juvenile champion, 2-year-old, one of the very first juvenile champion 2-year-old that I started following. His horses seem to be doing okay so far, not going completely lights out, but this was a $120,000 purchase off a $17,500 stud fee. So I think he caught my attention here. Tom Amos is pretty good with the 2-year-olds, 18% when they win last out as well. Did he make your ticket?
He did, and we talked about this a lot with that horse Pretty Birdie who just won on the show on Monday. digging into the fields when you're going into these 2-year-old races is ultra important. If you dig into Ottoman Empire's field, he ran at Churchill Downs. 3 horses have run back since. Texas Red Hot, who ran second, won next time out at the maiden special weight level. A horse that ran 9th ended up running 9th again, so not going to worry about that. But the horse that ran 6th came back and ran second in a maiden special weight level as well. So you've seen one horse win, another horse run well. I think that kind of flatters Ottoman Empire's effort even more. You mentioned the fact that this horse missed the break, was able to rush up and roll by these horses. They went fast early, 21-4, 45-3. And I like the professionalism. You've heard me say this time and time again with these 2-year-old races. I like horses that can pass horses because you don't see that all the time. And Ottoman Empire proved that he could do that, but also missed the break. So you might see more speed from this horse this time out. So I think that the 7 Ottoman Empire is awfully live. Tom Amos, very good with 2-year-olds, does well at Saratoga with 2-year-olds, won on the 4 horse today in that second race that we talked about. So I am going to use the 7. Last horse on my ticket is going to be, let me make sure I get this right. I am going to end up going 4 deep here. Last horse on my ticket is going to be the 9 horse, Headline Report. This horse Ward was talking about this horse in the paddock in the winner's circle after Golden Pal absolutely aired. He thinks this horse is ready to run a huge effort. He's usually has a pretty good answer for it. One of the things I thought was really interesting in the interview, he said that Headline Report was not ready for that race and that he won sheerly on class, that horse was not cranked up, that the horse, he just wanted to get an effort in him because he was pointing for this race. When you say things like that, you're telling me the horse is going to roll. And so you get a 5-1 price on a Wesley Ward horse who should run a lot better second time out. I think the 9 horse here, Headline Report, is ultra live here at 5-1.
If I can yes and you on this horse, he's a son of Gormley, which I think Gormley in 2017 won the Santa Anita Derby. I hated this horse because I hated his name. I think Gormley's and he's named after someone, so I feel bad. Gormley, it just is the most, like I fall asleep saying it halfway through. Stands for $5,000. This whole horse sold for $550,000. That's 110 times the stud fee. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. He's been doing well. See, my dogs even think it's nuts. He's 4 for 12 with his 2-year-olds winning their debut or in their debuts. They're 0 for 3 when they make a second start, but that's a very small sample size, and I don't think many of them are with Wesley Ward, who is the king of the 2-year-olds, as we've already seen today. So I think Headline Report is great. Also, the owner, Breeze Easy, they're very sharp with their purchases with horses. They don't tend to buy bad horses. They tend to buy horses that, what was it? 4-wheel drive. So, all 4-wheel drive did was go off and win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint.
Yeah, Velasquez and Ward teaming up were only 38%, so that's not too bad either. Imagine calling up Johnny V's agent and be like, hey, so I got this 2-year-old who's not ready to run at Keeneland. Do you want to jump aboard? Like, how does that conversation go?
He's got the pure. That's crazy too. That he's got the talent. Also, you gotta love when a trainer's like, "Yeah, what my horse just did was like running 11.5 second, sub 11.5 second splits for an entire race on the lead. Yeah, that was cool." Let me tell you about this horse that really wasn't ready to run in his first start and is going to be in this next one. If you can get 5-1 on him, I think you've got me sold on him being pretty good. Let's move on to the third leg of the late pick 4 sequence at Saratoga on Saturday, July 17th. The Grade 1 $500,000 Diana Stakes. You got a field of 8 older fillies and mares going 1 mile and 1/8 on the inner turf course, so they are going 2 turns for sure. Favoritism surprised me a little bit here, Mike. It's on the 7 Lamista, who is exiting a defeat when you've got the 8 Althika and the 6 Summer Romance, who were 1-2 in the Just a Game Stakes, beating several good horses, including Chad Brown's number 2 Pocket Square, who a lot of us, myself included, thought was going to be a monster horse in that spot. She was a 5-2 favorite, and I think she just finished running it last week. So walk me through what's going on here. This is an interesting field, especially price-wise.
Yeah, you kind of feel like David Aragonia gave Chad Brown a lot of love here and said, I think, and remember, morning line is not what the person thinks the odds should be. It's what he believes the off odds will be. And I kind of agree with him in a sense that the 2 brown horses are going to take a lot of money. So I do understand why, especially in this case, the 7 looked a lot better last time out than the 2 Pocket Square. So I understand why you're thinking Lamista is going to take that money and going to be the favored Brown, the favorite son of Chad Brown here in this sense, or daughter, I guess, since it's the Diana. So the favorite daughter is going to take the money, and that's going to propel the 7. Charlie Appleby, well, he's a very good trainer, probably doesn't get as much love here in the States as he should. I'm going to do the exact same thing I did in a Just a Game. I'm going to tell you the 2 best horses, the 2 Appleby horses, and I'm going to play those 2 on top. I mean, I wish that I had Summer Romance as the heavy Appleby for me last time out. That horse just missed, ran 100 by our first time here in the States. What happens if these two horses take a step forward? I mean,
oops.
It's awfully tough. If either of them take a step forward, runs a 104, 105 buyer, open book, close the book. Good night. It's over. Go to bed.
I'm still mad at myself. You say that Charlie Appleby doesn't get enough love in the United States. I'm usually one of the few people giving him love, and I'm still so pissed at myself. This is how much I loved Pocket Square in the Just a Game, is that I didn't use the Applebees. I used the two Chad Browns because I was like, it's going to be either Chad Brown or Charlie Appleby. I feel like Indiana Jones, the third movie, he chose poorly. I love Charlie Appleby's horses, especially when it comes to America. I think you have to use both of them. Remember, too, that you've got to have, a strong pace advantage for Summer Romance, and Louis Saez as a board. I think that, if you wanted to go short here, because they are shorter prices, looks like the second and fourth choices on the morning line. Man, if you want to just use the two Applebees, that might be good. However, you run into a little issue of possibly wedding and funeral. So did you go deeper than the two Appleby horses?
I did. I just said, I'm going to use Appleby. I'm going to use Brown. I'll get through this leg. I don't think Harvey Little Goyle is good enough to win, so I'm not worried about Harvey's Little Goyle. I agree with you. I think Summer Romance has a pretty big pace edge. If I played a press ticket, I would only use the two Applebees here. I had Pocket Square as my third pick over the 7 Lemonista. So if you want to leave that horse out, I'm not against you there either, especially since I'm not using Harvey's Little Goyle. And you can kind of draw a line through the last one where Mean Mary wired the field and they let her go like 113 or something ridiculous while she was doing it. I mean, Harvey's Little Goyle never had a shot at winning that race. Would have been nice if she was a little more competitive, but she was never going to beat Mean Mary in that spot. I do think Pocket Square is more interesting because I still think there's upside there. I'm willing to just say something went wrong in that race, wasn't able to run down a clear horse that had pace advantage. Yes, the 8-horse Anthique was able to come from off the pace in that spot, which is a little concerning, the fact that Pocket Square couldn't, Anthique could. There was also a lot of moisture in the ground that day. I remember we were talking about it. One of the reasons we liked these Appleby horses was because the turf was going to be good. I think it was even yielding her off the day before at Keeneland. We were good today at Saratoga. It's rained a lot this week. It should be good tomorrow. Maybe you're going to get firm, but even if it's firm, it's going to be a softer firm. So I think, again, we have a situation where there's going to be a little cut in the turf. I think that favors the two Appleby horses, although Pocket Square, obviously, and Lemonista coming from Europe both have that same ability too. So I'm going to go with the 2, 6, 7, 8, and I'm going to move along. If I played a press ticket, I would just use the 6 and the 8.
There's a full race preview available for free right now at racingdudes.com. You can check out Aaron Halteman's thoughts on the Diana Stakes. Pocket Square was a horse that he was another one that we thought Pocket Square and Domestic Spending were coming out of that weekend talking about the two of them. You're half right. He put Pocket Square back on top, and I think this is the time to rebound. I think you definitely want to use her. I would use her. I'm with you. I'd use her over Lamista, especially from a price perspective. Lamista at 5-2. I really don't want to touch that if I don't have to. Pocket Square at 8-1. If she's anything. I just can't believe that she's as bad as she was in the Just a Game when the race prior at Keeneland, she was so phenomenal that I have to use her here. It's also worth noting Chad Brown has won this race 5 years in a row and 6 of the last 7, I believe. So something to keep in mind. Funny thing here, I missed it when he initially posted it, but Jason says Tom Amos was on TV talking about Ottoman right as we were handicapping him. So that must be a good sign.
Hopefully he said good things. Because it would be nice to get that horse home.
I'm guessing he would. I think if he was trashing it, Jason would have said something about that to us. So we're going to take that as a good sign. Jason, let me know if it's otherwise. You know what? By the way, didn't use the 3 Magic Attitude. I love this horse as a 3-year-old, but she just hasn't quite turned the corner yet. I want to see what she can do here, but 12-1, maybe underneath. That's as far as I want to go with her.
Yeah, I mean, it was completely pace compromised last time out. So, again, you draw a line through that New York, Mean Mary, yielding turf. She was never losing that race. You go back to the races 2 and 3 back. They kind of fit if we can continue to take a step forward. Delacour can get a horse like this home. It's a daughter of Galileo, so the distance obviously shouldn't be the problem. Bred to run races like this. I don't hate it at 12-1. I just think this is a really deep field. I mean, this is a good running of the Diana if we get all these horses in here.
Yeah, it's one of the best 8-horse fields you'll see in 2021 for sure. Jason says he was talking him up big time. That is an excellent sign. So there you go. Just play the 7 and the 9 in that race and move on. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's move on to the fourth and final leg of the late pick 4 sequence, Saturday, July 17th at Saratoga, race 11. You've got a field of 9 maiden boys, 3 and up, going 7 furlongs on the dirt. Favoritism, Mike talked about him before. It's the 8 horse, Askin for a Baskin at 5-2. Just to his inside, the 7 horse, Ducal from Juddmonte Farms, Brad Cox, 7-2, second choice. The 4 Southern Flag, 9-2, Bill Mott. Junior Alvarado, who's Mott's top rider, is going to be back in the saddle there. You talked about it before, Mike. You really liked how you talked about Mahamel and asking for a Baskin and how that was referencing. If Mahamel ends up going off and winning that race, well, you'll be knocked out anyways. But that probably make you feel better about asking for a Baskin. But if he loses, as you're predicting, asking for a Baskin of 5-2, that smells like a pretty bad favorite that we're going to try and beat here.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it the way I did, where you have very good slop sire, run ridiculous buyers, merry-go-round race, literally the 1-2, they start out 1-2-4-5. The 1-2-3-4, the horse was third, dropped out to last, but was like 80-1 anyway, so I'm not going to worry about that. Everything tells me that race is weaker than it looks on paper and that you're going to get horses way over bet off it. I think that is what's going to happen here as well. I'm going to not use the 8 asking for a Baskin, so if this race comes up weak, I'm going to have 2 favorites that I beat in this sequence right off the bat. It's the reason why I think there's some value here to go shorter in these 2 legs and then spread in the middle, and hopefully you can get a decent price home. If we get 8-1 on Pocket Square and we beat both these favorites, this thing could actually pay pretty nice for a smaller ticket here at just $48. The top pick here for me, I'm going to go to the 7 horse Ducali. This is a second start for Brad Cox's son. I'm for a Brad Cox trained horse. It's Twirling Candy's son. This is a homebred for Juddmonte Farms. This is one of those horses where I just think it's going to be, you're going to see a nice step forward here. The horse just missed breaking its maiden the first time out, ends up dead heating. I think got a lot out of it, was between horses, which is usually not what you want here from these 3-year-olds first time out. I think the stretch out to 7 is a positive thing. I like the fact that we have tactical speed. I think you're going to see the 7 horse Ducali absolutely keyed up for this race. And as our boy Dan said, Denarius man, always use Manny Franco in the last, so we're going to put him on top.
Gotta love Anonymous, man. Yeah, the Manny Franco in the last. I forget about that ankle. Thanks for bringing it up. I'm with you. I think Ducali is a really strong play here. The horse just to his inside. The 6 Aban, I think I'm saying that right, is is the only older horse in the race, right? Yeah, he's the only 4-year-old facing 3-year-olds. This is Todd Pletcher, Luis Saez, and we're getting 12-1 on him. Immediately when I see Pletcher Saez in a maiden race and we're going 12-1, I'm like, well, that's curious. And then you've got a $280,000 purchased son of Will Take Charge, who's going to be first time with Pletcher, was with Danny Pites all last year as a 3-year-old. Now he's gelded. And now we're putting Saez aboard. The horse has shown speed in the past. Well, shown that he wants to lead. That was going 2 turns. I think Saez and the gelding, I think that those 2 things are going to wake him up here. Did he end up making your ticket?
Yeah, this was my second pick in this spot. The gelding, you got the Will Take Charge out of a Tappet mare. Going over to Pletcher, I mean, everything here says that this horse is going to be able to take a big-time step forward. I love the fact that it's the 4-year-old. And, oh, by the way, 12-1 doesn't suck either. So I thought that the 6 was awfully live here for all the reasons that you said. So the 6 and the 7 were my top 2 picks. I was kind of perusing the rest of this field and trying to figure out where to end up. I thought about going to the 4 Southern Flag. I decided not to go there because you kind of had that stagnant second race. You didn't see that step forward that you'd like to normally see, especially from a Mott horse. I think that this 5 horse Lemon Drop Road is a little bit interesting for Jimmy Jenkins there. But that horse came out of that same asking for a Baskin race. And by the way, just to prove my point even more, runs back and runs the same buyer, doesn't take that nice step forward. So again, showing why I think that race is a little weaker. I went to the 2 horse Cool Quest as my 3rd horse in here. It's a $220,000 son of Frosted. Lynch brings this horse in after dueling at Churchill Downs, going 6.5 furlongs. I like the fact that we're getting inside speed here. And then I look at the last 4 workouts, right? So June 5th runs a minute out of the gate. Then June 12th goes 59 seconds. Then runs out of the gate again on June 19th. Ships out to Saratoga. Fires a 46-2 workout for 4 furlongs. Best of 55 on that day. I think the 2 horses, your speed and awfully dangerous to wire this field. I love the fact that Velasquez picks up the mount. I'm going to end up 3 deep here. I'm going to go with the 2-6-7.
The 2 Cool Quests is, to me, an example of something that you've talked about multiple times, is looking, especially these 2-year-old races, look at the fields and look who they were facing. If you look back at that race, the Cool Quest debut was beaten 9 some lengths there, but the winner ran off by 8.5. So immediately, basically the horse was a neck and a half length behind second. The winner had missed his debut by a half length and ran off like that. So it wasn't really too much of a surprise that he did what he did. So the fact that other than that you had a runaway winner with experience, you were a neck and a half length behind from breaking your maiden on debut for a barn that doesn't necessarily fire massively at that level. It's still not great. Second time starter 6%, but. I think the angles are here, and that inside speed is going to be a huge advantage. Being bifrosted, you would think that this horse should be able to handle the 7. Real quick, Mike, I do want to interject here because the race 10 is about to load here, the last race of the day, and a couple of our listeners, the guys Chris Potts and Michael Myers, they're live here in the Pick 4. Chris Potts, a $12 Pick 4 ticket on a $1 bet, and he's alive. So congratulations. You did even better than what I was trying to do with my $25 ticket. But I'm looking, I see Chris needs 3, 8, 12. Michael needs 5, 7, 11, 12. So for the Magic Mike family, let's try and get the 12 home. This is a horse that when, Mike, you and I previewed this race, we both liked the 12 all the way on the outside. Roos with Dylan Davis aboard for Timmy Hills.
Yeah, I have big doubles to the 7, then the 5, then the 12 in that stacked order. So I'm with this 5, 7, 12 thing. We can get the 12 home. I'm more than fine with that. That makes it a winning day.
We'll keep one eye on that. We'll get back to the races, this race real quick. The 3 deferred taxes. Chad Brown is in here. It's a Clairvich Stables owned horse. Javier Castellano in the saddle. Normally I'd be like, well, you got to use this horse, but it was 3 times failed on the turf, and is the son of Flintshire, who is, I think, 6 for 26 or 4 for 26 when he's on dirt with his horses. So this feels like Chad not knowing what the hell to do with this horse and not wanting to piss off Clairvich.
Yeah, this was just one of those weird ones. Like we talked about how Brown knows his horse as well. He's good on dirt. Him starting this horse 3 times on turf, especially with Flintshire and More Than Ready, just tells you this is probably a turf horse that just might not be that good. Right? I think that's kind of where we're at here. And they spent 160 on him. Like you said, they want to try him on dirt, see what happens. I expect the horse doesn't run very well, and you see him in a claimer on the turf next time out.
We'll give an update halfway through the race. The 12 is sitting in the catbird seat just outside the leader. 25.34 seconds for the opening quarter. It's probably going to be at 50.5 for the half. It's a long shot leading that's probably going to speed and quit here. Speed. I say speed lightly. So if you got the 7, you've got to be feeling pretty good about his chances. The 5 is sitting just behind, held up a little bit, looking for room. The 7's towards the rear there. But you got to be feeling good about your 12 play here. He just needs to kick in right about now.
Yeah, the 5 got a terrible trip. He's hit a check twice here on the backstretch, and I thought he'd be on the lead. The 4 horse is one that Justin Dew brought up on Twitter earlier today. He checked last time, or got pinched and checked last time out. 7, is that him starting to wheel wide there? Is that
7 with the green cap, yellow silks?
Yeah.
Boy, is going to be...
Who I thought ran on really well last time and just didn't get there. And we'll see if he's able to get up here, if it's going to be the 8, the Chad Brown horse, who's closing it out on the turf as the favorite and ruining dreams for some people here.
Oh, man. The 2's making a nice run on the rail. Come on, 2. 2's got it. 2 got it. Look at that. Home. Danzig with the stars. Luis Saez off the pace. But gets the job done.
About that one. That horse came out of the same race as the 7 and the 12 horse there. So interesting that the 2 runs back when he had the worst replay of those 3 in that last race.
Woof, that was fun. Well, I'm really sad that I was really hoping we could get somebody home in the Magic Mike team here. Damn. I was really hoping we could, because, I mean, obviously our tickets got busted right from the start, but would have been nice. By the way, congrats to everybody who played Dak Daniels. I was so mad about that. Yeah. I told Mike that was the next horse in, and I should have used him instead of trying to go too cheap with that ticket. Damn it.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about that. Ugh, Dak Daniels. I can't stand that horse. That horse is on my shit list.
You know what I hate about that horse? Is going to sound weird. That horse has an unnecessary apostrophe in his name.
Yeah,
that apostrophe doesn't belong there. And every time I see his name, I'm like, it's like nails on a chalkboard to me. I love Dak Daniels and Jack Daniels. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of the Magic Mike Show. Thanks for joining Mike and I to go through the late pick 4 sequence at Saratoga on Saturday, July 17th. If you're watching the replay or if you're watching us live, thanks for joining us. Give us a like, a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the Racing Dudes YouTube channel. Click the notification bell. You will be alerted every single time somebody goes live on this channel. Big weekend, obviously Saratoga opening day today. Del Mar opens tomorrow, Mike, and I snuck one past you. I had a secret Magic Mike Show episode that premiered late last night. I had a good friend of the show, John Lees, on, who is the simulcast host at Del Mar. They're also the backup announcer. For the race calling. Had him on to talk about his favorite handicapping angles at Del Mar, things to look forward to. So if you want to play Del Mar, I know it doesn't get quite the headlines that Saratoga does. I'm really sad about that. I love Del Mar. Make sure you check that one out. It's a quick one, 16, 17 minutes. I didn't have John for a whole heck of a lot of time. It kind of came to the last second. But please give that a listen, a watch, especially if you can, give it a watch on the YouTube channel. I did a lot of video editing of it using replays and stuff like that to try and help educate with what John was talking about. John also gave out his lock of the weekend in race the opening day. There's a maiden special weight turf horse that looks really damn good, and I put the replay in that one. So give that one a watch. Mr. Sandwich, please, your 50-cent ticket for the people.
Yep. So if, I'm going to start out with the 110 with 1279 with 2678 with 267 for 50 cents. That'll cost you $48.
Jason in chat says, anyone from the Magic Army, if you're at Saratoga on Saturday, hit him up. First rounds on him. Well, Mike, I think you might be there. Aaron Halterman's there. Ricky's there. And anyone else from the Army, make sure you find Jason.
Yeah, the plan is to be there. I may or may not be there tomorrow. Probably we're going to be there. I would assume I'll be there Saturday and Sunday.
Tomorrow's not Saturday, is it?
No, tomorrow's Friday. So we'll see what the deal is there. But yeah, I'll definitely be there Saturday, Sunday. If anyone's around, shoot a DM to me. We can try and figure out how to meet up when we're at the track some point.
Those guys will all be there Saturday. I just got confused thinking that I was a little wistful thinking that today's Friday, which would actually, if today was Friday, it means Del Mar is already about up to their third race, which would be, yeah, they're running. Speaking of Del Mar, Mike, did you know on Sunday, Cougar 2 got Tiz the Magician coming back, running a mile and a half on the dirt at Del Mar. Looks like a pretty manageable field. You've got Red King, who won the Del Mar handicap. He loves the distance. It sounds like it's kind of a prep for him to get ready for that one. Not sure he's going to really love the dirt too much. Cupid's Claws, who did beat Tiz the Magician in the Tokyo City Cup when Tiz was only 3. Tiz came back and won that this year. So we're trying to get some revenge on Cupid's Claws. Haywood's Beach is cross-entered in that in the San Diego handicap. It sounds like that he's going to run in the San Diego. So it's going to be a 5-horse field for Tiz. That's fine. When John Lees asked me how many horses I'd like to see entered, I said, line them all up. He'll beat them all. He'll knock them all down. This is Tiz's time, baby. It's Tiz time on Sunday.
That's a huge field for a California Greatest Stakes race.
Hey, listen, the San Diego drew 9. I couldn't believe that the San Diego handicap drew 9. That's usually like the 5-6 horser where it's like, hey, maximum security's coming back from an 8-month layoff and rehabbing one drug. So we'll throw him in there. No midcourt. Midcourt usually loves to run in that race, but he's still training. I don't know what the hell he's doing, but he's not in that race. But that is a good field too.
It'll be interesting to see how the fields at Del Mar shake out this year. They did a lot with the ship and win promotion. It's every race, not just the first race now that you get 40 or 50% purse bonuses, minus stakes races. So I'm interested to see if you have horses that want to come in and run 3 times there. I mean, if you have a middle-level claimer that you claimed out of Churchill, Gulfstream, Belmont, wherever it is, you ship them out to California, you got some huge upside running these $20,000 claimers, things like that. So I'm interested to see how we do field size out at Del Mar for this meet.
Well, and I think it's great that they did that with the anticipation that, or with knowing that the Breeders' Cup is going to be back at Del Mar in the fall. So it's just one more reason to really encourage horsemen to try and send their horses out, get used to, try Del Mar, see what happens, make a little extra Skrilla because you're shipping in, and we'll see what happens from there. Also over at RacingDudes.com, hey, guess what? We've got Del Mar, you got Saratoga. Don't forget the Haskell Stakes is this weekend too. The Haskell Stakes Inside Track Wagering Guide is now officially available for sale at RacingDudes.com. You can go check that out. Buy it right now if you have any sort of monthly subscription, whether it be the premium products, Ricky's Rockets, or the Samo Bombs, or a combination of those 3. This is included with your subscription. Also, just recorded this morning, Dr. Miranda previewed the Haskell. She went through the field as well. So on the website, you've got the full race preview for free. You've got Dr. Miranda breaking the race down for you for free in video format. And then, of course, you have the wagering guide. Mike, I know we don't like to talk about Monmouth, at least this isn't something we want to handicap for the show just because of the no whip situation. Did you look at the Haskell field? Do you have an early pick for it?
I gave it a quick look. I'm probably going Mandaloon, man. I think that I really think that Louisiana Derby was just a fluke. I was pretty high into that horse going into the Kentucky Derby. I think that horse, that race kind of validated how good the horse was. That specific segment, I think, was one of the better. And I love Hot Rod Charlie's story. I think Hot Rod Charlie tries hard every race. And maybe the lack of whips is going to be a plus for Hot Rod Charlie, where he's just going to try hard anyway. And other horses may struggle a little bit with it. But for my money, I think Mandaloon is the better of the horses and probably your second best 3-year-old in training right now. I guess life is good in training. So anyway, I like Mandaloon in the spot. I think that he's the bet, especially if he's not the favorite. I think Red Charlie is the morning line favorite.
Hot Rod Charlie's the favorite, 6-5. Following C is 3-1, and this is a horse that is never gone beyond 6.5 furlongs. He's never tried Stakes Company, but I read John White's column this morning, and he has an insider who he refused to name because he was speaking off the record, which sounds like bullshit. But when John White says that this is legit, that they think that this horse is one of the best 3-year-olds this year. So you've got a son of Run Happy. Out of a Super Saver mare, or out of a Speightstown mare, so Sprint, who's going to try a mile and an eighth against proven distance horses on dirt. It's gonna be, and he's 3-1.
Yeah,
that caught my attention too.
I'm gonna Run Happy's gonna have to beat me at 2 turns before I'm gonna start betting those horses. I mean, that's kind of if it's here, if it's somewhere else, Run Happy has to beat me at 2 turns before I'm gonna start playing 3-1 in a stakes race.
It's one thing when it's Latruska winning as a daughter of Super Saver, but when Run Happy, a son of Super Saver, who was a champion sprinter, when that starts coming out, it's I don't know.
Maybe a Tappet mare, or maybe there has to be something in that bloodline that makes me think, especially that they're just going to get the distance. In this case, toughest field, first time going 2 turns, not bred for it. Like it just, to me, it's a spot where you got to fade a 3-1 shot. It's
$1 million purse. It's a Breeders' Cup winning year in Birth for the Classic, all on the line. So. Excuse me, make sure you join Mike and I on Monday to talk about, following C is pretty damn good in the Haskell. We'll see what happens to that one. I think we just talked him into the winner's circle. But we will be back on Monday to talk about all the great action from this weekend. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. I'm at Curtis Kellard. He is at SummerBomb18, number 1, number 8. Corporate Overlords at Racing_Dudes. Make sure you're following him, the Racing Dudes, and Ricky Pasternak. They are both at Saratoga this weekend. They did a handicapping seminar at the Trackside Grill this morning. So that was really awesome. It sounded like they had a great time with that. So follow everybody as they're at Saratoga. I'm stuck in California in my house, wishing I was at Del Mar this weekend. Have fun this weekend wherever you're betting. Be safe. Be successful. Until next time, I'm Magic.
And I'm Mike.
Good luck.
The Magic Mike Show, where you hear the experts speak. The Magic Mike Show. Tune into the show every week. The Magic Mike Show. You can trust the show is the bomb because it's being brought to you by RacingDudes.com.